Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Funs with Hans. Oh my god, I'm a total idiot. I'm a really special breed of idiots. This was not supposed to start like this. um, yes, I did a very special thing about an hour ago. I recorded Funs with Hans, you see, with a muted microphone. Oh my god, I spent 35 minutes talking about certain things that I wanted to talk about. I recorded everything, and just before I started rendering, I wanted to see if everything was okay, and I pushed play, and the sound wasn't coming. And I'm like thinking, what? How is this possible? What do you mean? I wasn't muted. My microphone isn't muted. Everything is perfect. And then it hit me. I'm like, oh no. Oh, please no. So I turn on the OBS again and I see the muted microphone. I can't. I have so much work to do today. God damn it. This is the last thing that I needed. Plus, I spent 35 minutes talking. Talking. Anyway. Not a way to start the episode. I have to sound just as enthusiastic as I was when I was recording it the first time. And trust me, I was. There's only a couple of things that I wanted to talk about today. And I've went through all of them and everything went perfect and smooth and everything was awesome. And I'm like, yes, baby. Just past noon, I'm done with Fun Sweet Hunts. I'm done with a bunch of things that I had to do. Now I can go and do some special compilations and a few other YouTube vids and stuff and be like... And then I realized I have to do it again. So I took a break, like 15-20 minutes of self-pity. Because talking the same thing again, I'm sure you can imagine, as enthusiastic as I was and happy doing it the first time, and now it just feels like I'm on the replay button. But for you, it's still the first time. So my apologies for a bit of maybe rage. But here we go. Okay. The first thing that I've already talked about was my morning. My morning was okay. It's not. I can't get the heads from the tails right now. A few days ago, we've noticed that our little kitty, who I'm sure all of you have already heard of or seen if you're following us on Twitter or watch Funs with Hans or stream or yada yada, she had a cold. And we took her to the vet and she received medicine, which was injected through a syringe in the back of her neck, which is exactly the same place where you pick up the kitty when you want her to be obedient, whatever. I don't usually do that. I just pick her up like something, I don't know. Use both hands, be very gentle. But if you want to, do it like her mother would do it, you just pick her up there. That's also apparently the best place to give her medicine and stuff, because I guess it hurts the least, or it doesn't hurt at all. Anyway, she was supposed to be good. She took 6 of these in 3 different days with a couple of days apart. And she was getting better. She's awesome. She eats, she drinks, she plays, she jumps. She's awesome little kitty. And we didn't notice any change in her mood. But 2 days ago, we've noticed that she kind of started sneezing again. And this was basically through the nose, like... and stuff like that. And she would sometimes do it a couple of times in a row. And sometimes she would just do it once. So we weren't really sure. Do we wait? Do we take her to the vet? Is this just the hair? Is she just... I don't know. It could be anything. And then Mrs. Citadel was like, yeah, she works, so she can't do anything in the morning because she's at work. I'm at home. I still work, but I work from home. And she was like, you know, if you wanna, you could take her. If you don't wanna, we could still wait. And I had an experience with a cat before, where we took her from, I believe these things are called asylum, where people find the cats and then bring them in because nobody's taking care of them. And she was awesome. And then she stopped eating, she stopped drinking, she stopped doing anything. There was nothing. Well, there was clearly something physically wrong with her, but there was nothing you could see. She was just in no mood to do anything. We took her to the this was many years ago. We took her to the vet, and the vet said, wow, we'll give her some medicine and some things. You will have to give her this and give her that, do this and do that. She'll be lucky if she makes it through the night. And I was like, wow, shit, alarming. So the second we noticed that she was sort of sneezing, my alarm sensors went off. And then yesterday, this was 2 days ago, yesterday she really started sneezing a lot. She was still awesome in every way, but she sneezed a lot more. So today I decided, fuck it, I'm not risking anymore with any cat. I'm taking it to the vet. The vet is legit. I just leave the building, go across the parking lot, cross the street, and it's there. It's 2 minutes walking. It's no big deal. So I decided, okay, I will take her so the vet can actually take a look if there's anything wrong still with her. And I've noticed one other thing. When you have at least a limited or somewhat experience around animals, you realize that mostly, not to say ever, things don't happen for no reason. There's a why to everything that that you see an animal do that's not just playing around. I've noticed that one of her eyes, her left eye, was slightly, really slightly, Mrs. Citadel didn't even notice, closed. Now, you can't really say closed because the eyes were still wide open. It's just that the left one was slightly less wide open, to put it more precise, than the right one. And I've noticed her yesterday trying to scratch it with her palms, the front ones and the rear ones, and I was like, And then this morning, it looked like she had some, I don't know what's the word for it. You know, when you wake up in the morning and your eyes are full of that thing and you just have to wash your face. So I've removed it from her, and I've noticed that she's got some sort of a slime in her eyes, so I removed that as well. And her eye looked more open, but I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the vet. We're gonna have her check that throat thing, the sneezing thing, whatever, and I'll tell her about the eye. So we got there, and the vet immediately, as I was saying this, she said, yeah, I can see that her left eye is a bit closed. Apparently she had conjunctivitis, or however you pronounce that. So we got the eye drops for her, and 5 days, once in the morning, once in the evening, and she should be fine. She got her throat checked, and apparently she still has a cold. She's apparently very sensitive, and she will continue to receive medicines. So she took 2 more syringes of medicine. These are very small syringes and very small amounts, so it's fine. And she will get it at least one more time on Thursday, where in the morning I again have to go with the kitty to the vet for one final checkup, because this sort of a cold kind of prolonged itself. So she will be just, you know, having prolonged medication as well. As for the eyes, everything should be fine. I asked the vet, is anything serious? No, everything should be okay. So that much about a kitty. How rude of me. I didn't even tell you. The game you're watching right now is the Z52 game that I've played some time ago. There's already been like 2 episodes in which I've shown other things and not this replay because I just didn't have enough time. So I'm showing it to you today. This was played a few weeks ago, if not even more. I honestly don't remember. It's a good game, and the game after this that I will show you is from Ranked with Kremlin, and both of these games kind of have interesting moments in chat. which is one of the subjects that I wanted to talk about today. This one, not so much, the second one in particular. And we'll get to that subject a bit later. I left that second game as a second one and not the first one because I wanted to tell you about the kitty first in case you were wondering. She's doing fine right now. She's awesome as always. Sleeping, eating, drinking, fighting, jumping. She's an awesome, crazy little kitty. Okay, so the second thing that I wanted to talk about is, before the next game starts, to cover that subject as well, is my current or so far experience in ranked. I've been asked many times on my streams in the past week, Flambus, will you make, okay, that's a new word, will you make another video about, well, sorry, not another, will you make a video about rank season? And I keep telling people that I already made one, where I tell you about what I think are going to be the best picks, what I think about the season in general, and some decisions were gaming made and stuff like that, talk about maps, modes, yada yada. The current rank season is 7 versus 7, with 1 carrier allowed. You can have, I think, any number of battleships, any number of cruisers, and any number of destroyers. So, I'm not sure if there's a limitation to 5 battleships like in randoms, but I have seen a game where there were no cruisers. It was just 1 destroyer, 5 battleships, and 1 carrier. I've played a game where there were a couple of destroyers and a couple of cruisers, no carriers, no battleships. I've played plenty of games with no destroyers, and I've played plenty of games with no carriers. So this season I've seen something that I haven't seen in probably any season before, and that's all classes in the same time and 1 or 2 classes completely missing in games, and all of the classes covered. So I've played Daring, as I promised that I will try it. It's not worth it. Certain things have, you know, certainly and definitely changed, like from 10 to 5, sorry, from 10 to 6 bracket and from 5 to 1 now, and the time, we'll talk about it. So when I started playing, I started as a rank 10 because I was rank 1 the season before, so you get a certain amount of stars which immediately propel you to rank 10 in this season. I didn't have to go through 18 to 11 brackets, which I hear are terrible because of rental ships, carriers, bad players, you know, everything and anything. 10 to 5 was not that good. I was being drawn to play the carrier, and I really tried to play... sorry, not the carrier, the destroyer. I was being drawn to play destroyer, and I really wanted to play destroyer. I played all 4 classes. Let's just get that out of the way. I tried Haku, I tried Daring, I tried a couple of cruisers, I tried Battleship. I played with everything, I won and I lost with everything. And here's my standing on it, because so many people are interested. Destroyers, don't do it. It's not worth it. When there are destroyers, some of them are bad, some of them are good. But if you're a DD player, you are nothing but a total support to your team. And your life and your game and your win and your star is all in the hands of your teammates. You have minimum impact on the game in terms of experience, damage, and kills. Which is, you know, the things that matter the most. How much damage and kills and caps are you going to get? Caps are very hard to get because of carriers and because of radars. This season we have a lot of very small maps. Now on paper they're very big maps, but considering where the caps are positioned, and that's only 7v7, and that there's carriers, and that you all need to stand kind of together. When I say stay together, I don't mean blob of 7 ships. It's usually the best to go 3 ships, 1 cap, 3 ships, other cap, and carrier covering whatever it needs to cover. Sometimes even 4-2 can work. Don't do 5-1 or 5-0. That's a bad idea. It's just, you don't get to do a lot of damage if there's a carrier. You don't get to do a lot of killing. You don't even get to do a lot of capping or decapping. Destroyer's life is important, as it always is, of course, but destroyers are just way too easily countered by carriers and magical spells, such as Hydro and especially Radar. One or two radars can ruin and cover everything. When you combine radar that can see through land and lasts forever and has a pretty long range on a relatively small area of the map where the both caps usually are, when you combine that with carriers, no land or smokescreen is going to save you. You are nothing but hunted beef, damage sponge pinata target. I think the best thing to say to define these things would be just target. You're a target. It's very hard as a destroyer to come above in experience earned the carrier. Most of the time when there was a carrier, no matter where I was, carrier was above me. I had some pretty good games, I had some awesome carries, I had some just disastrous games, but most of the time I actually ended on 4th and 5th position out of 7. That's far away from 1st. I've had more luck sometimes and ended up 2nd or 3rd, but usually carrier was always at least one step above me, which was very depressing to see. Like, no matter how good or bad you do, carrier is always above me. The couple of times where I actually won and was first in the team, I can't remember if I lost and was first in the team, but the couple of games where I actually won and was first in the team were the games with no carriers and often very little radar or no radar, because sometimes it does happen. Miracles and stars align. So I would really not suggest to you to do the DD. Of course, this was my experience at the beginning of the season. Now there's already been a week, and a lot of carriers have moved on to Premier League or ranked out. So now, or at least on EU, this is my experience on EU, of course. At least on EU, you don't see that many carriers in 10 to 6 bracket anymore. There are, but not that many. Which means playing a DD is probably a lot better experience right now, but still, I don't know. I would just suggest you to not bother with it. My second suggestion was, go with a Mino. It's going to be probably the best DD. Why I said the Mino was, besides the fact that you're the best concealment when there's no DDs, and I played a lot of games with no DDs. You got your own smoke, you got your own hydro, torpedoes, a lot of guns, good rotation. You know what the Mino is. You've seen me play it a billion times. And it's very good against planes. And I've played Mino and I've had a lot of success with it, but when this carrier population started dropping down, I found that it's not worth it. It just wasn't worth to try and beat all these ships that are shooting all the time, like battleships or some other heavy cruisers. And I'm stuck with trying to sneak into the cap, and I waste my time, and I still get detected and radared and shot at and resetted, sometimes devastated or torped or yada yada. And I waste all my time trying to play objectives because effectively you're a DD instead of just playing for yourself. And when you do play for yourself, people take cover behind the islands and stuff like that, and they radar you, and you can't get close enough, and the smoke expires. It was a lot of bother. It's a very powerful ship. I had no problem being first in the teams with it, but if there's no carriers, just take a heavy cruiser. Just take something like a Henry, which I've heard a dude ranked out in 66 games on, I'm not sure is it NA or EU, 66 games using only Henry. I think it's just, wow. That thing just shits on everything. It's a bit overtuned. Or take something with a radar, such as Des Moines, or whatever else you find to your liking. But my personal favorite cruiser this season has been, and I've tried a couple, has been Des Moines, because I absolutely love Des Moines. I mastered it pretty good. I play it very often. I have the legendary module on it. The captain is somewhat AA built with BFT and manual, but it's still, if the carrier wants you, he will kill you. The problem is why I wouldn't suggest Des Moines that much, or Salem, when there are carriers, is there's a lot of Hakuryus. Like the top pick is a Haku this season, when it comes to carriers at least, and these AP bombs will absolutely ruin your day. They will do like 25,000 damage to you, which is more than half of your HP. He does that twice, and you're basically dead, because you can't heal these freaking citadels. Like 10% or something. Couple of fires or couple of hits for someone else, and battleships, all battleships in tier 10 can just murder you from the front. So it's not as easy. I had a lot of good success with it. Won very often with it. I don't know the exact stats, you know, I don't look these or don't care about it. But I've had really good success with it. I've tried carrier as well. If you're a good carrier, definitely go for it. If you're not, you know, you might be finding yourself that the games end faster than you can actually earn enough experience to save your star. But my most favorite and awesome pick this season has been this thing. Kremlin is an amazing battleship, at least for ranked. You can bow in, you hit like a truck. Only the Yama can really hurt you from the front, and not always. It's got strong AA, it's relatively fast, it's got a lot of HP, good armor, solid reload with a, you know, reload module. It's an amazing ship. I'm rank 3 currently with 4 stars. I'm 6 wins in a row away from rank 1. And this is what I've been playing. If you want my advice, take Kremlin. Second best choice for me when there's no carriers would be Des Moines. Third best choice, if there is carriers, would be, I guess, Mino. Everything else is, you know, if you want to. One very important thing to notice, though, is I played the first, I don't know how many games without Special Captain. And then I got enough containers and I got enough tokens, and then I got myself Admiral Kuznetsov, which is the brand new Russian captain, which has some special traits, just like Yamamoto or the other ones have. If you achieve a first blood, and I do sometimes achieve it, you get additional consumable. One more damage control party, and one more heal, which is perfect. It's exactly what this thing misses to be extremely strong. And when you get below 10,000, 10%, which is around 11,000 HP, an extra heal activates, and it doesn't consume your consumable, and it extinguishes all fires, repairs the ship, stops the floodings. So it's basically an extra Damacon with heal. And it stacks with a regular heal, so you can activate them both in the same time. This, in combination with First Blood, is insanely strong. Like, you could say, oh my god, this sounds like pay to win. There's a lot of really awesome and OP captains, but this one has a special trait that it basically gets activated on its own. You only can influence like 50% of it. I'm telling you, I played the first, I don't know how many games without it, and I still had really good success. When I got the Kuznetsov, things just got a lot easier. So my top pick for this season, Kremlin. Third thing that I wanted to talk about this in this episode is toxicity in video games, in chat in general, in online whatever. And you will see it in this game in particular soon. In the previous game, you've seen some things at the end of the match, some responses, some messages to some people, and it was, you know, ups and downs and stuff like that. But in this game, you will see something really, really, in my opinion, disgraceful, disgusting, and pathetic. Like, from on the ladder from, or on the scale from low life, pathetic, to human, I don't know how much lower you can go. I understand that people can get salty. I understand that people can get triggered, that they can be irritated or annoyed. Sometimes it's not fair. I lose my shit as well. I lose my calm. I start yelling and hitting the table and cursing and stuff like that. But in 99.99% of cases, you won't ever see me type in the chat to people anything that's not hello or hi or you know, answering the question and stuff like that, and actually go and actually insult people. Sometimes I would be like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Come on, move. What is wrong with you people? Why? But that's it. That's about it. To call other people's names and to curse them, to wish them a death, them and their families? Seriously? I mean, it gives me the chills to just think about this. Honestly. It's like, how low can you go? How pathetic can you be? That is the lowest of the lowest as you can go. That is just shameful. And what shocked me even more is that sometimes you will see people apologizing, and then you feel good and bad in the same time. You feel bad for even telling someone something or insulting him, and you feel good for actually witnessing a miracle when it happens. And a miracle is that you called someone on something and they actually admit making a mistake. They actually said, yeah, I was wrong, or this is wrong, or this is not right, and stuff like that. But very often people actually, not only that they don't want to admit it, they try to justify shit like this. Are you serious? They try to be like, oh, this and that, and they try to put the shame, the head of shame on you for, I don't know, being shocked or surprised by what they said. Have we seriously hit those low lines in humanity? I mean, I know we unfortunately have, but it always is a negative surprise when shit like this happens. Oh, you know, this is normal. No, man, fuck you. This isn't normal. You're an asshole. Being an asshole isn't supposed to be normal. It's supposed to be, I don't know, pointed out and got rid of, or just change it, or improve, or stop being an asshole. We can all be salty and stuff. Just get over it. Move on. Talk to yourself. Talk to your friends. Scream, yell, and shout, and smash a table if it helps you. But don't do shit like this to other people. That is ridiculous. And people very often forget. You know, like, oh, I'm sitting in my home behind my PC. This guy just killed me. You're playing a war game. Of course, his job, his role, his purpose is to kill you. And if he outplays you and kills you, you're cursing him and wishing him death? Are you out of your fucking mind? What is wrong with you? So, don't do this. It's ridiculous. And one of the most shocking revelations for me was that I've run into people after these kind of experiences where they try to justify it, and they're making fun of you for thinking that this is something unordinary, or that, let's put it this way, that this is supposed to be normal. Fuck you is what I say if you think that this is supposed to be normal. The sad part is, this is happening too often, apparently, and people got used to it. Don't get used to these things. This is not normal. We're not supposed to go around and insult each other, curse people, and wish death upon each other. This is ridiculous. If this happens in real life, you would get knocked, and pardon my language, the fuck out if you come in someone's face and tell shit like this. Like, I don't care who you are or how tall or big or shit like that you are. You come in someone's face and you say something, people explode. I've seen it a billion times where people got into fights for a lot smaller and stupider shit. It's pathetic. But when you're behind a PC, you're all fucking brave. It just shows how immature you are. It just shows how pathetic and lame you are. It's really just, don't do this. Really, just don't do this. This is just one of the examples, but I've seen this happen maybe a couple of times. Maybe a couple of times in the entire career of playing World of Warships, and I've been playing this game since the start. Only a couple of, well, okay, maybe a bit more than a couple, where people would just like wishing death upon each other. But that's a whole new generation of idiots who think that that makes them whatever the fuck that makes them. In my book, it just makes you an absolutely lowlife and an asshole, and you should be ashamed of yourself because you're a disgrace to humanity and human life. But there are people like this. But don't do this. This is seriously not cool. It's not okay. It's not fair. And try to be better. You know, we all have our differences. We all lose our mind. We all sometimes wish we could just punch one another or that we could just say stuff. And I've seen and we've all been through all these toxic stuff. But come on, there's a line you don't cross. There's just lines you don't cross. Anyway. Don't want to end this episode with just talking about bad shit and bad stuff. This match so far has been not working out, not going in our favor. We had one destroyer and he immediately suicided. He got himself killed like super early. It was a huge setback for the rest of us. And we were just struggling. Here, in this game in particular, I had... Like, if you were paying attention to my speed... you would see that I've went forward and backward like 100 times. Because 80 out of those 100 times, it wasn't to dodge or to throw off the aim. It was, I'm actually going to go now. Shit, no, I'm actually not going to go now. Because I wanted to get rid of the Yamato. The Moskva behind the Yamato isn't the problem. If that's a Moskva, I can't even see right now because it's too small on my screen. And I need to get rid of this Yama because they're all shooting at just one guy that's behind me, that's my support. And I can't really punish this Kremlin on this angle, but luckily he continues to give me bigger and bigger and bigger angle, and he is more and more focused on other stuff than me. Right now it's 3 versus 4. We don't have a single cap, we're down on points, this game is looking terrible and horrible and we're about to lose, and I'm just thinking to myself, am I gonna be able to at least save the star? Then the Kremlin goes down, Yamato fires, and I see that he's going to beach here and he doesn't want to ram. And I'm like thinking, okay, this is the moment. I will full speed, I will go, and you can see here that I'm already preparing my turrets and my guns. I'm counting on his reload, and I'm counting that he can't ram me because he turned the wrong way, and I decide after 10 minutes of not doing anything, I'm gonna go. At that exact time, Carrier was dropping this guy, doing everything in his power to help me. I get friendly torpedoed. What does the dude do? He says, I'm sorry. It's not even his fault. That's the insane part. It's not even the Carrier's fault here that he torpedoed me. I was behind that island, anchored, basically locked down for 10 minutes of this game. I can't see the timer right now. Something like that. And Carrier was doing everything in his power to help us that he can. And finally, when I got my chance to go, Carrier already dropped torpedoes, and he's trying to drop this Yamato from every single possible angle that he can, but there's an island on one of the sides. And out of the 3 torpedoes that he dropped from the rear, 1 connects, 2 don't connect. Those 2 both end in my ship. Did I say a word? No, it was my fault. It's not the Carrier's fault, but I calculated and I waited that it's worth it. It's absolutely worth to take friendly torps, which I think do even 50% less damage, and maybe I don't even take them both. I ended up taking, I think, both. And I need to use this opportunity. I absolutely need to get my ass stuck in there and kill this Yamato. Kremlin just died, and then go and try to get rid of the Moskva. And then it's just the Carrier. And maybe, just maybe, we can do this. Here, I decided I'm actually going to stay in the cap. I was very much talking in the stream. If you watch the stream, or if you want to watch the post-broadcast, you will see that here I was really thinking hard. Do I continue chasing? Do I continue backing up? Do I turn in? Do I go wide? Do I chase the Carrier? Do I actually stay in the cap? I'm too close to the Carrier. He's never going to let me cap this out. But I'm contesting, and if it takes too long for us to kill this carrier, we might run out of, I don't know, time or points. And if I take at least one cap, and then I realize he's moving forward, so I decided to full reverse, stay in the cap for as long as I can to contest it. I actually managed to cap it. And now it's like, alright, full speed forward. We must kill this guy. If we kill this guy, we win. We're still behind on points. Carrier is actually right now entering the other cap. He's completely stopping their points and he will take it. Here you can see the Kuznetsov's flare being fired, which means the special skill has activated. And boom! We get the carrier. We snatch the win from the jaws of defeat. This was an amazing game. It was a very passive and very disappointing, and it wasn't looking too good for the first 10 minutes. And then I took something happened. The Kremlin died. I realized this is my chance. I went in. We killed Yamato. We killed Moscow. We killed the carrier. We got the cap. Stopped the points. Turned the game around, and we won. So a bit of positivity to end. And also, I'll show you a picture of Ziket. As always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the support, likes, dislikes, shares, subscribes, and all that cool stuff. Thank you so much for supporting me and the channel. It means the world. You guys are awesome. Good luck in your ranked. I hope this was helpful. Work on being less toxic if you're toxic at all. If you're not, props to you. Pat yourself on the back. Hugs from me. Good luck. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the stream. By the way, I'm rank 3 with 4 stars, so we are really, really close. Stop by the stream. See you later.